I'm hosting. Oh, my screen.
Yes.
But it's Friday.
You're using like a Radio Shack mic, so it's hurting my ears.
Oops. And we are live and alive. This is Ari, the Data Queen, joined by Analyst Hole, Matt Muscardi, and Hazelnut Rawless.
Why? Why am I
On
Hazelnut
today's
Rawless?
Weekly wrap up because you had hazelnut
That
coffee
one time.
Actually, you didn't even have
It's
it.
like-
I had it, and you complained about it so much.
It's like every middle school nickname. You do a
Your-
thing
but
one
your
time,
nicknames
it's forever.
Your nicknames are adjacent to something intelligent. Mine is adjacent to something terrible and accurate and stupid.
On today's weekly wrap up, we have updates on Boeing and Disney. Yay. But also a study every parent should bring to their employer and a law every state needs to pass.
Yeah.
Am I biased towards my section?
Yeah,
I'm calling
you
this
just
the
listed
earwax
things that you're
cleaning episode where Ari's mic rattles the joy out of my earballs.
Okay, David, you don't like my mic so much. Why don't you start?
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Did you see what,
What
she
do
just
I
did
like?
there?
What do I
Yeah,
like?
that's the real question.
Segue, I love it.
She just segued you.
I have four of the nerdiest business pantsy free float headlines possible. I mean, for anyone who's never listened to our show before, welcome and sorry, because you're not going to know really why I care about any of this. But I don't care. So, but keep listening. Tell your friends. All right, first one: Boeing CEO. I guess he's out. I don't really know. When you really think about this story, what's changed? I don't even know. Because Dave Calhoun, Boeing CEO, he's planning to resign at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But with a customary 8K, a customary event announcement from a company, you will actually see end dates. You'll see what's going to happen with the contract, the payout, all that stuff. With this, a guy is saying he's going to leave, and he's saying it's 100% his own decision to
but
leave.
he said it in a press release. That makes it real.
Oh, sure. Now, at the same time, we also know that board chair Larry Kellner will not be running for re-election at Boeing's
Yeah, that's what
upcoming
he
annual
said, yeah.
meeting.
Wow.
But Boeing usually puts out its annual proxy statement at the very beginning of March, and this year, nothing. It's almost
End of
April.
March.
So again, I guess that's happening. I don't really know. The other thing they announced is that Stephanie Pope is becoming the new Boeing commercial airplanes CEO. So there are rumors there that maybe they're setting up a very shiny glass cliff at Boeing for Stephanie Pope. But the problem with Stephanie, I'll get to more problems with Stephanie later. But one of the big problems, of course, is that she's been there for 30 years. So this doesn't exactly break up the old boys network, right? Anyway, there's a lot going on at Boeing. That's the first story of the week.
I love the idea that they would delay the proxy statement for the next 10 years, and Larry Kellner would just stay.
delay his retirement for the next 40 years?
It would just be like 10 years of Kellner still his chair while they figure out how to file a proxy.
It's like a boyfriend that's really hard to break up with, right? Like you say we're broken up, but he doesn't really move out.
He's still got a toothbrush there.
He keeps cooking dinner. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Dave. Old Calhoun.
The longest resignation notice I've ever heard of.
Listen to this paragraph I pulled from a CNBC article that made me giggle. The CEO told CNBC in an interview that he's holding off on his retirement until the end of the year because he always told the board that he would give plenty of notice before leaving the company. Quote, that's what this is about. It's me giving them notice that at the end of this year, I plan to retire. It's just like, what?
It's like he's given notice before his notice?
I don't know.
Why is he gaslighting us?
And why is it up to you? I mean, aren't you kind of the main captain here that's screwing things up?
Well, last time I checked, you report to the board, right? Like I thought they were your boss. Don't they demand?
This is what we've discovered about American boards. This is why we do what we do. This is why we've developed the data we have, because boards in America seem only to be there to play defense against the CEO, to insulate the CEO from losing their jobs, essentially, because the boards I mean, they can't even fire Elon Musk at Tesla. They're not going to fire Dave Calhoun here, I guess, because it's just a bunch of networked people who just sort of protect their pals. There's no oversight.
I mean, I know that's the case, and we talk about that all the time. I do like the idea that they won't file a proxy. Just be like, nah. I just like that idea.
I don't like it because I like proxies because it's like my box score. It's like reading about who scored who for the Lakers last night. Like I need to know something. I need data.
I don't know how Stephanie Pope's gonna have any credibility if she were to replace Calhoun.
She's not, and I'll get to that later in my predictions actually because there's more about Stephanie Pope I want to talk about. The second story of the week. Yes, foreshadowing. It's another nerdy one. How about this one? Okay, Nelson Peltz, we know, is battling Disney for world supremacy over there at that stupid media company that I don't really know why anyone cares about anymore. I mean, have they had anything good since 1942? Who knows? But I never liked Disney, so I'll shut up.
Yeah, harsh.
Nelson Peltz earlier said that Disney is stupid because I'm not trying to fire Bob Iger. I want to help him. We don't fire CEOs. That's what he told the Financial Times. This week we learned that Nelson Peltz withholds votes from Disney CEO Bob Iger in proxy battle.
Wow.
And I picked this one because I wanted to update this contest, A, and B, how great is it that there are headlines about the stuff that we obsess about, withholding votes from directors.
We don't fire CEOs.
Oh, well,
yeah, we don't fire CEOs.
We just ignore it.
Well, wait a minute. 79% of Nelson Peltz's votes are Ike Perlmutter's votes. And Ike Perlmutter hates Bob Iger for pushing him out, right? So is it really Nelson Peltz withholding the votes, or is it his neighbor who he borrowed? Because they're actual neighbors.
Well, what's the difference? What's the difference?
The difference is the whole thing is a dick war. It's not about
that's true.
It's not about like Iger is doing good or bad. It's not Disney is good or bad. It is just literally, and, he's coming out everywhere saying everything's woke too, right? Like, and that's why he's doing this thing. So,
he also didn't target Iger. He targeted two directors. It was like Froman and Lagomasino, right? Didn't target Iger. So this guy is just a mess. You're right. It is. It's just kind of it's overinflated ego war, right? Yeah, whatever that means.
He needs some guidance. Call us.
Third story of the week. Yeah, actually, I would love to do business with you. Call us. I'll be yelling at you for the first 90 minutes for being a racist and misogynist, but we'll get over that. The third story of the week. Oh, this is a good one. Mississippi. I'm assuming you're going to cover this one, Matt, but I don't really know. Mississippi hits BlackRock with cease and desist. Threatens massive fine over ESG policies.
Wow, that is nerdy.
I guess they're mad at them because they think that even their non-ESG funds are too ESG. That's why they're mad.
I mean, that's just. Have they looked at how this company votes on things? Like they don't. Their non-ESG funds are too ESG. Are you kidding?
Now. And in another storyline, something that I have been claiming for a while, because I think this is also partly like I lump it into the George Soros-y anti-Semitic weird woke wars. There's a billboard already up featuring a picture of Larry Fink at BlackRock called "BlackRock Guilty of Fraud." This is put up by some right-wing consumer advocacy group, but it's weird to me. That this really isn't. Is this really about BlackRock, or is it? Why is this about Larry Fink? I mean, and they even have a orange arrow with Larry Fink, and it just it makes me uncomfortable. That's all I'm going to say. It makes me uncomfortable.
Looking at the billboard, having seen Larry Fink, it's not like it's not a likeness of Larry Fink-ish.
I know, but is this about ESG or is this about Larry Fink? What are we really doing here, though?
Doesn't he look in the sort of graphic more like a Jewish globalist that you might hate, right? Like
I find it very uncomfortable. I find it very uncomfortable.
I think they think that ESG is Larry Fink.
It's just it's a mean old rich Jewish man.
I think they need.
I think they think Larry Fink
created. Look, Soros is 300
I think you're
years
right,
old.
Ari. I think they do think that.
No, I think Soros is 300 years old and they need a replacement. So this is like the slow campaign.
The new globalist replacement.
And Larry Fink, if he retires from BlackRock 2 years from now and disappears, They're going to have to find someone who's the evil globalist running the world.
Bob Chapek.
Yeah, hopefully it's Bob Iger. Yeah.
No, Bob Chapek will take over.
I want Iger. I want it to be Iger.
Okay. All right, and the fourth story of the week, which I'm sure no one really cares about, won't spend too much time with. Former CEO of FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, sentenced to 25 years in prison. So I guess that story's over, although maybe he can appeal that. I don't know, but I feel like I had to throw that in there.
I'm sure they'll appeal.
Yeah. Can someone explain to me how he got more time than Elizabeth Holmes?
Because
the judge.
I don't want to go off on another anti-Semitic conspiracy theory, but I'm convinced it has something to do with like the way he comes off. Like I know there's suggestions that he's on the spectrum. He's got the wild Jufro. I just think there's something about his persona that he's a very easy target. I don't know what it. I don't know. Again, I'll shut myself up because I'm going to go onto La La Land here. But that's what I wonder about on this one.
I don't know,
because you're right. It is. It's a lot. It's a lot.
This was pretty easy for me.
Yeah. Oh, you're voting already?
Look at that. Jumping right to the... Can we
and you're right to shut down all my conspiracy theories because I do need to shut up.
Boeing CEO. First of all, if it was his decision to resign, like, what the F?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And if it wasn't, like, just, I don't believe you anyway.
Well, how about this? And Ari, I'm glad you pointed that out because also in the other story where Nelson Peltz says we don't fire CEOs, but I mean, isn't that kind of your role on a board? Right. Not to fire them, but there are...
It is to fire them.
Eventually it could be, right? Eventually it could be. Exactly. Thank you. Like, what is an American board anymore, Nelson? But what's your vote, Matt?
No, Ari's right. It's just Boeing. It's Boeing all day. It's Boeing forever. That company won't go away. Let's do something else.
Let's move on to me.
The music has died. So you're all...
Wait, Matt, you can hum that transition, can't you?
That's not the right one.
Yeah, no, that's the right one.
Is that the right one?
And then it goes...
Now, goodliest of the week.
Yeah, make up your own theme song.
Guys, I was really excited about this one.
You're really excited every week.
Listen to this headline.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Child care benefits for workers effectively pay for themselves, new study finds.
Okay, all
Come
right.
on.
Okay.
And this was a study by Boston Consulting Group, which, people go gaga
I love Boston.
over.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. And
Who's they?
nonprofit Moms
like
First.
Uncomfortable, yeah.
But let me just give you an example of what happened. UPS had a pilot program, an on-site emergency daycare for hourly workers just in one facility. It led to 3 fewer employee absences a day, which effectively paid for the program itself. UPS liked this so much that they're expanding it to 8 more sites immediately.
Yeah, I mean, like this is. I mean, I don't even. To me, it's like.
I know. I don't even have to
data
prove
for
it.
that? I know. It's like, what are we doing?
But listen to the study's conclusion. For every $1 spent on childcare benefits, employers saw a net gain between 90 cents and $4.25.
Wow.
Yeah, because people stopped missing work, being late to work, and otherwise just totally.
Although this is a nightmare for Matt because I don't think Matt wants to take his 3 kids to his work.
I'm a little bit worried that Ari's asking for daycare at our office.
Oh. Well, we have a tenant in our office. We can kick them out and we can put in a big bouncy house.
I gotta print this study and have my husband bring it to his Fortune 500 employees.
Ooh, Fortune 500.
All right, number 2. This is a little
I do
nerdy
like that Ari though. I can't crap on that one
because I love protecting consumers, and I love
just something you
really
right to repair.
I do too. I know you
laws.
do love this. This is like number 2. Batteries you love the most, and number 2 is the right to repair like your watch or something.
Not that I will ever personally repair any of my stuff.
Yeah,
you're an engineer. At least it gives me.
Well, your husband might. He likes to tinker.
Maybe, but it gives me the ability to not, go to the most expensive place to get my stuff repaired.
Okay.
But anyway, Oregon governor signs nation's first right to repair bill that bans parts pairing.
Yeah.
So there's been a couple of other states that have laws that make manufacturers provide the same parts, tools, and documentations to people so that they can repair their own stuff. But Oregon is the first state that is saying these devices can't block repair parts. Well, these devices can't use software pairing checks during the repair process because that's what they used to do. You could have all these tools and documentations to learn how to do it, but in the end, you needed to pair it with some encrypted
parts or something
thing.
Yeah.
That would allow you to actually restart your device.
So it's pro-consumer.
Yeah,
that's what you're saying.
Yes, it's pro-consumer.
I do have a problem here. My problem is that
Uh-oh.
the first two Goodliest I actually like, and I don't know how to feel about this.
Well, you know why? Because
I feel uncomfortable.
Why is this, Ari? When we do the show earlier, is your brain working better or something? Like what is going on?
I mean, there's no cynicism in these. These are
I like these.
good.
This is what happens when I don't go through the headlines that you pull.
Oh.
No, actually, you're wrong because I didn't pull the child care one. I definitely pulled the right to repair one. So grow up.
And lastly, SBF sentenced to 25 years.
Oh, that's the cynical one.
Well-
Because why is that? I mean, I guess it's good.
Look, I read the Michael Lewis book. He's a fraudster and an asshole, and he is so self-involved, and whether or not he's on the spectrum doesn't matter. He's so self-involved and so casually indifferent to humanity and all about him. But I don't understand the 25 years. Michael Milken got less time than he did, and he was a repeat insider.
The Enron.
Jeff Skilling got
this is-
11 years or 12 years.
Yeah.
This is what the judge said during the sentencing. There is a risk that this man will be in a position to do something very bad in the future.
I don't. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Again, what about
maybe it's just the sheer scale of money
What about
for all the other people.
What about my brilliant idea of you take all these horrible, first of all, you beef up enforcement at the SEC. You take all these horrible fraudster CEOs like SBF and Adam Newman types. You put them in an old WeWork building because no one's there anymore, right? You give them bunk beds and shared bathrooms, and you make them create companies that help the world, that do good things. I don't care what it is, like robots that pick up trash or fix bridges or whatever it is. Like make stuff that actually benefits. Don't have them just sitting in a prison cell. I don't know. What is that? What is that doing?
You are so far removed from what
reality
good means to these people.
I don't care.
think SBF was like, "Oh, I'm going to create FTX."
I don't care. But
bad.
now that he's the penal system owns him for 25 years, we can be like, okay, dude, you're gonna make up.
Are you advocating for forced labor?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Come up with something that benefits. Don't just do an OpenAI project where you're just making your buddies rich. Do something that benefits all stakeholders. I don't care what it is.
Did
Figure
you
it
read
out.
the OpenAI mission? It's to benefit all humanity. So you're
Oh,
wrong
right,
about that.
all
You're
humanity,
You're wrong
yeah.
about that.
Damien,
Yes.
his benefit to all humanity is to become the richest person as quickly as possible and spend his money in the way
Helping
that
I
would
know,
benefit
but
the
now
most people.
I'm
said.
talking
That
about
is it.
I'm talking about a new way to punish these people. It's a different way.
I think they
Because
should.
Matt, haven't you
Be less efficient.
Haven't
is
you
punishment
reported
enough.
several stories where these people not only do they come out of prison after short sentences, but then they run they just run other companies. They become CEO. Didn't Skillings and
Skilling was working.
Enron
at
people
another,
end up
yeah,
on. It wasn't there an Enron person who's now on the board of Meta or something?
Yes, there is. There is.
Yeah.
But that he wasn't, convicted.
you
But he
don't
was
know
a
that.
derivatives trader at Enron.
That was the guy who had the one of the all-time. The New York Times reported that he had one of the best derivative trading streak in the history of the world, and you don't think that they're?
I'm just
he
saying
might have
that he
known
wasn't
about any kind of
I'm
fraud
just saying he
going
wasn't
on.
convicted. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because the SEC doesn't have enough enforcement money probably to figure out what he was doing. Anyway,
All right.
Anyway.
Well, we got child care benefits. Don't cost a thing. They should make a song about that. Maybe I should make a song.
Yeah, make it right now. We have time.
Do we?
Right to repair laws and SBF going to prison for apparently what I'm hearing is a really long
So
time compared to other
I'm
people.
torn about this.
Which one? Which ones are you?
I'm torn about the first two. So I think I'm going to vote I'm gonna just.
I'll just go the opposite one of whichever one you pick. I'm gonna do the opposite so that Ari can break the tie.
I'm gonna vote for the right to repair bill, and I want to vote for that specifically because the child care benefits thing is like one of those things that I feel like everyone knows intuitively. They just did a study to show it, but the right to repair is a real new thing. Like it's an actual thing that's passed. And going to
weird
happen.
way to vote, but yeah, okay, I like that.
So, but you're voting for the child care benefits.
I'm going to say
the opposite.
Yeah, I'm going to say what Matt said, but the opposite thing he said, and vote for the child care. So Ari, break the tie. What's the goodliest?
I appreciate the heads up of you telling me that it was going to be a tie, and I'm going to go with child care because people don't listen until you come at them with facts.
Ari, you have to go for that one. You put
in child care, it's not a cost center.
And you put in the pre-production notes, you put in all caps, I will shout this from the rooftops. You have to vote for that one.
You should be shouting about right to repair.
Instead of saying it, I was shouting.
You know what?
No one shouts about right to repair. Nobody cares.
If Portugal Air had a right to repair the ticket that you bought 4 years ago.
There is no Portugal Air.
Maybe that's what Boeing's gonna do.
Oh.
All right. Pretend there's music because we're going to another segment. And that segment is my segment.
Assholiest of the week.
Oh, no.
All right. I have 4.
Oh God.
But one is just a one-liner. First up, actually, is flying way under the radar here because we've talked about Nelson Peltz. We've talked about Glass Lewis, who's backing Disney's board, which we're not against. But we've talked about ISS saying Nelson Peltz should get on the Disney board. There's another player here, and that's Egan Jones.
Yeah.
The unknown proxy advisor. I mean, slightly less unknown than us, I would say, right? Like,
yeah, it's like a. I looked them up. It's like a ratings firm in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. But in this Disney proxy battle, the headline actually gets it wrong because they say, they get it right, but they kind of inflate the value of Egan Jones. In Disney proxy battle, second firm urges shareholders to elect Nelson Peltz. And this is Egan Jones who put out their advice that you should put Peltz and Rasulo on the board, actually.
Yes.
They wanted Rasulo too. And they said, quote, the unnecessary and extremely dangerous entrance of the company and its management into the killing fields of the culture wars is one of the reasons.
Killing fields?
Now, when did everybody get so beautifully poetic in their proxy advice? We had the baleful shadow of Ike Perlmutter in the ISS one. We have the killing fields of the culture wars in the Egan Jones one. What?
It must have been when, honestly, not that you're really looking for an answer. I know it's a rhetorical question, but I guess it was when Obama won his first for his first term. All these creepy dudes, like the Egan Jones dudes, they started getting angry, I guess. They started thinking that everybody was coming for them. And
I mean, I don't care. I'm just talking about the language use. Like, isn't it so
well, that's Trump helped
poetic?
That.
But Trump is not poetic. The killing fields
but
of the
he is
culture
angry.
wars.
He's angry.
What I like here is to think that, like, the analysts... Look, everyone, you have two options. You can either buy proxy advice from ISS and Glass Lewis and Egan Jones, which clearly employ English majors who failed out of finance, who are now writing advice for you, or you can buy Free Flow Analytics, where you get actual analysts doing actual analyst work and giving you data and numbers.
And I want to get back in my milk crate for a second.
Oh, good.
Because I want to praise. First of all, I want to praise Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott for saying what we've been saying for a while, which is that DEI is a coded acronym for white assholes to basically use the N word.
Is that what he said?
That's what he said because they already are going after diversity. For one of the reasons why the bridge in Baltimore collapsed. He's a black mayor of Baltimore, and they already started at him because of diversity and DEI. So he just called it out, like that we've been saying, that it's coded language to use to be anti-DEI, just like we've been saying it's coded language to be anti-ESG is to be against women. So I'm praising.
Oh,
Brandon
don't forget
Scott
gay
here.
people though. Yeah, but this is what Egan Jones is approving. This was another headline that we talked about on Tuesday, but Nelson Peltz slams Disney for being woke. quote, "Why do I have to have a Marvel that's all women?"
Yeah.
That made me
That's
laugh.
a quote.
And what did he say? And what did he say about? Did he say something about Black Panther?
Yeah,
too?
he said, he basically went on to say, why do we need these movies to have all black people or all women? Why does it
Do
have
you
to be
think
that
that's
way?
how he hires for his companies?
I like that he knows.
Why do I have to accept these resumes
Look,
from
this
women?
guy is trying to get on the board of the largest media and entertainment company, arguably in the entire world, and he called it a Marvel. Like he
And can I
didn't
just
say
say-
like an MTU movie, or he didn't like refer to it. He called it like a 90-year-old would. Why do you kids have to have a Marvel with all the women? Like it's like, what century are you from?
And can I just point out that beyond like just getting angry at him being a horrible racist or misogynist, I want to just the data here. Black Panther. He's referring to Black. He referred specifically to Black Panther. As of this week, Black Panther is the 19th most successful movie in the history of the planet, with $1.3 billion in box office.
Well, let's give some data of
Black
our own.
Panther.
Let's give some data of our own. Nelson
So this guy is
Peltz-
so completely out of touch.
Nelson
completely
Peltz
out of touch.
on every board in the last 7 years.
That's true.
Has created,
Absolutely.
according to our data, $6 billion in market capitalization. That's the difference from when he started on every board until he left every board relative to his influence on those boards. And he's a high influence player because he's an activist.
Not
Bob
to mention that Barbie's at number 14, Nelson. So shut your mouth.
Bob Iger, $90 billion in value add. $90 billion. $6 billion, $90 billion. Iger, his market cap value add is actually not like it's all one place and Disney's negative. It's actually split evenly between the two boards he's on, Disney and Nike. It's Nike, I think, was his other board. Meanwhile, Peltz is on 6 or 7 boards and cannot muster more than $6 billion, and almost all of that $6 billion is just from Procter & Gamble. He's actually negative in a handful of others. The data does not lie. It's what it is a Marvel that Nelson Peltz gets on a board. That's the Marvel. That's what a Marvel is, Nelson.
I mean, what's crazy too, and how out of touch this guy. First of all, Jay Rasulo, he sits on the board of a radio company. So Egan Jones, congratulations, you're supporting a racist
disc
jerk
jockey
who wants to put a radio guy on the board. But I'm looking at the top 10 movies of all time. A lot of these are Disney movies in the last 5 years. Avengers, Star Wars,
No, but that's
another
the magic
Avengers.
he wants to restore. He wants to restore.
But they're already making this stuff under. Like, I don't understand what's happening. Like, what? I mean, Black Panther, Frozen 2. These are all recent movies. I don't understand anything.
I'm excited
All
for
right,
Moana too. I'm not going to lie.
Calm me down. Move on.
All right, number 2. I'm not going to calm you down. It's just going to get worse from here. Number 2 is Larry Summers.
Number 2. Oh, that was only
That was
number 1.
Here's
Oh my
number
God.
2. Number 2 is Larry Summers, who is doing his job on the OpenAI board as Sam Altman's bro.
Don't trigger
He
me.
said, here's a headline: Larry Summers, now an OpenAI board member, thinks AI could replace almost all forms of labor.
Well, I bet he's hoping that they replace the women first, right?
That's what
'Cause that's a targeted goal at
literally
OpenAI, right?
Like it's like you have the same pre-production notes that I wrote. Like the
Well, no, but we covered his misogynistic.
yeah,
rants
he
back in the day.
10, 15, 12 years ago, he said that women are not as smart as men, essentially. They're not as good as men.
I mean, he really did kind of say that, didn't he?
I think it was nearly that.
This was the
yes.
president of Harvard.
Yeah, and he said, so now he's very excited about robots being smarter than women too.
This is who they got on the. They replaced 2 highly credentialed
AI
women.
ethicists, basically.
AI ethicists on the OpenAI board who dared to open their mouths about Sam Altman, which is their job. And this is one of the people they replaced them with, along with
And
a
Brett
tech bro,
Taylor.
Brett Taylor, yeah.
Yeah.
I really, Crazy, just crazy.
So Larry Summers opening his mouth about AI, like we
People
need
do
to-
matter.
Like
The board matters,
As
people.
if
Directors matter.
8 minutes before he got on this board, he knew anything about AI, and now he's on the board, and now he's out there talking about AI. That's just a Sam Altman talking point, isn't it? Like, aren't we? We're just using the talking points. These aren't.
Yes, and again, to my point earlier, he is there to provide defense against Sam Altman. He's there to
he's
protect
he's a blocker.
Sam Altman. That's all he's there for.
He's the offensive line. All right, number 3, and this is just a one-liner. We've talked about Sam Bankman-Fried going to prison for 25 years. Here's the headline. Sam Bankman-Fried apologizes for wrecking the lives of FTX customers while still trying to shift the blame for their losses.
Okay.
To whom?
He apologized.
He's basically, in the sentencing, he was trying to show that he wasn't as bad as these other people who have gone to jail. So he's trying to like minimize his
Okay.
jail sentence. He was saying
would do
things
that.
like, Elizabeth Holmes actually had patience, right? Like there was people who were patients. It was health. Michael Milken was like a insider trader. He was breaking capital markets. He said something about the crypto investor is a different type of investor. They know the risks that they're getting into. Meanwhile, it was like mostly the data shows that it was like a huge, like a vast number of people of color who are getting in because it was like get rich quick kind of schemes that they're reading on social media. So it's really nice of you to shift the blame to the crypto investor and not you.
What's he gonna do? What's he supposed to say?
I'm just saying. It's
Give me more years.
still an asshole move. And number 4, and lastly, the headline is, and we haven't talked about this at all because it was so nothing burger to me. Larry Fink's 2024 annual chairman's letter to investors.
Ooh, I haven't looked at this at all.
The reason why you haven't looked at it at all is, do you want to know the
don't care.
number of times Larry Fink mentioned ESG?
I do actually, because we didn't we cover this last year? Wasn't
We
it?
did this, yeah.
It was 0, right?
It is
last
currently
year?
0. It is still,
Oh, still
zero
zero.
times.
Still zero.
Still 0
Oh,
times.
yeah.
And I don't, Larry.
But maybe I'm okay with that though. Remember, we did start our company wanting to kill the acronym.
Sure.
That's what we said last year.
But
Yes.
but I think that Larry
true,
is trying
that's
to
true.
he spent, it's a really long letter, and he spent about 50% of it on the retirement crisis, right? Like about young people and their need to invest, and how boomers are retiring but don't have enough money for retirement, and there's this big retirement crisis.
I understand that problem. Yeah.
And he's not wrong to spend time talking about that, but it also seemed like he was very careful never to say anything that sounded woke. Like it was very carefully crafted.
Good for him. Good for him.
In fact, I ran the word analysis for the entire letter, and the top 3 words were retirement, people, and markets. Those were the top 3 words.
It does sound like a boomer. It sounds like one of Reagan's like friends.
Doesn't it? That's what I
Yeah.
mean. It sounds like a early '80s Republican speech.
All the type of teacher that used to give me detentions the most.
The coupling words, like the words that were most associated with his biggest words, were things like ETFs, years, power, savings,
God.
America.
Yeah.
America
Oh,
was.
what about
was a big
Eagle?
one.
Is Eagle in there?
Like it's so patently obvious. You're
good,
trying
Larry.
to
You don't
like.
good. You don't care about gender diversity and women in leadership. You don't care about the environment. You don't care about climate.
Well,
Good.
he
Congratulations.
does save a piece to talk about the energy transition, and he talks about
God.
energy pragmatism, quote unquote,
which means like
which is basically
it's gonna take 400 years. So just slow
just be
down, people.
pragmatic. Because
Conestoga wagons can't go that
like,
fast.
the world can wait for pragmatism.
We'll get to the West Coast. We'll get there.
But here, meanwhile, while he's putting out this letter, these are the headlines about Larry Fink, and you already covered them. Mississippi seeks multi-million-dollar penalty against BlackRock over ESG investing. Those are the non-ESG funds.
This is what makes me so pissed off is that because Larry, it's not working.
Yeah,
like,
they
no matter
don't
what you
care.
do, no matter how
Stop
much
it.
you backtrack, they don't care. You're the new boogeyman. You're the new George Soros. So why not fight for our side? Fight for the good
Fight
side.
for
Like
something.
because you had started to do this in the past. You were echoing some of the the things that the Business Roundtable said about stakeholders, about the new purpose of capitalism. So get back to that.
Yeah,
because they're going to hate you no matter what.
And the second thing is they're putting up billboards of you, anti-ESG billboards of you. If you are on a billboard and there's an anti-you billboard,
yeah,
I would love
not writing the word ESG in your or the acronym ESG in your annual letter is not doing it. You're already on the billboard. So Larry, just write us an addendum to the letter where the only thing you write is ESG. You just write the ESG space, copy paste it for
Is it ESG
300 pages?
ESG comma ESG period. Is it a new sentence?
I
how do we do this?
I think
semicolon.
Here, I'll dictate the letter. Okay. It will be dear companies. In thinking about things,
team.
I know these are to the company CEOs. He's like writing to CEOs, right? Like, dear investors and CEOs. In thinking about things I missed in the last letter, I wanted to mention a few things. ESG, comma, repeat 400,000 times. Sincerely, Larry Fink. Just do that. Just rub it in their faces. So those are your four. You've got Egan Jones going on the Nelson Peltz and Jay Rasulo bandwagon because of the killing fields of the culture wars. Larry Summers as Sam Altman's
Only a white dude could say something like that.
Sam Bankman-Fried trying to side blame the customers of FTX, and Larry Fink. Stop avoiding ESG. Just go right at it, you asshole. Those are your four.
This is tough.
What does it even mean? I don't even like what. I don't want to spend too much time on this metaphor, but what does it even mean? Like, the culture war is really an extension of the civil rights movement, of just equal rights in general. That's what the culture wars really are. It's just the next phase of that movement that started in the 60s. So what does he mean, the killing fields? Who's dying? Like, who? What does he mean?
Yeah, it's like Cumberland.
I don't like that imagery.
White superheroes? That's what he means? They're dying?
I don't like that imagery, so I'm going to go with that one.
Okay. I want to.
Against imagery.
I'm trying to decide if I want to make this interesting for Matt because Egan Jones is really pissing me off. To support Nelson Peltz at this point, I mean, you're such a troll. You're such an ass. But I mean, this Larry Summers. I think that is this. If I pick Larry Summers, is that too nerdy to pick that one?
Why? What are there rules to this game?
Yeah,
are we
the
only podcast that cares about the board at OpenAI? Are we it? Are we the only one who talks about stuff like this? Because I just feel like it's too nerdy. I'm going to pick that one because I think it's important to the potential. I just saw a headline that OpenAI might be like the first non-for-profit that could be worth $1 trillion.
No, get over
so
it.
that if we are the only people complaining about the board there, then that's a shame.
When we valued non-profits. Isn't that
when Sam Altman
opposite?
took over a non-profit? I guess. So that's my vote. Well, who's the real asshole?
Well, I'm going to say I'm a little tired of the Nelson Peltz thing. I think ISS is a bigger player than Egan Jones.
When is the meeting? It's coming up, April 3rd?
Yeah, we are live streaming it. We are live streaming it with a friend of the show, Doug Cha, is going to be on the show with us.
Douglas Cha.
Douglas? No, I mean, it's not. It's like D. Shaw.
Dougie Cha. D. Cha.
I'm a little tired of Egan Jones. It sounds like you wrote yours after ISS wrote theirs and tried to kind of one up it a little bit. So,
you said ISS, boo.
Larry Summers, I feel like, is doing exactly the job he was put on the board to do, which is parrot Sam Altman and turn it into $1 trillion non-profit, not for profit. I am going to go with Larry Fink. I'm going to go with Larry Fink because in the same week, Mississippi's trying to get millions of dollars out of you.
That's not how this game works.
I'm sorry, I can break the tie however I want.
That's not how you break a tie. What's happening here? I don't know how to record this one.
I'm going with Larry Fink, and you could just deal with the fallout.
I should have just said Larry. Larry's the asshole.
Okay, Larry.
Actually, all right.
That's a good solution, Ari. I'm going to go Larry.
Larry is the... Larry is the asshole.
I'm not gonna. Am I gonna remember this though in our year-end review? We'll see. Let's
just pretend the Egan Jones piece was written by a Larry. Which brings us to something else.
Headlining.
Oh yeah, our new thing.
You guys are. guys are now abusing the system. I made the mistake 1 week of picking 4 headlines.
The first week.
Only because you two
these
chuckleheads had not done anything. You hadn't done anything. So I was like, uh-oh, we need some material for the section. But now, I mean, come on. 2.
All right,
two
all right.
maximum.
I cut to
pick your
2.
2 favorites.
All right, I picked my 2 favorite because I had 4.
I picked 1. I picked 1.
I'll go first, so Ari can cut 2 out of hers.
I can't cut any of them. They're too good.
I'll be the judge of that.
All right, here are 2. The first one is dozens of lasers got pointed at a passenger jet pilot as it flew over a festival.
What? I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if that's good. I don't like that.
Well, here, the problem with this one,
Goodliest.
it's headliniest. The problem with this one
right,
is
headliniest. Yeah.
where this happened. It happened at this is a real thing, the National Pyrotechnic Festival in Tultepec, Mexico.
This sounds fun.
Wow, that sounds like Burning Man.
What is that? Fireworks?
Yeah,
What is
fireworks.
that?
Pyrotechnics is like
oh, I don't want to be
lasers
anywhere
and
near that
fireworks.
festival. Get me away from that
They
festival.
handed out lasers to people, right? Like that's part of
Oh,
the
wow.
festival. Then they shoot them at a passing airplane. Does
Well, of
not
course.
seem like a weird thing to me.
Well, it's probably mostly dudes in that audience. Of course they're going to do
It
that.
made
I
me
mean,
giggle. But the one that made me my probably only real entry here is billionaire says his long-delayed Titanic 2 ship will be antidote to woke politics.
Well, this is not you're not talking about like the movie director James Cameron.
No, I am talking about an actual billionaire in Australia,
An idiot making
who
a
is
ship?
building a giant replica of the Titanic.
Oh, my God.
And
Tell him we
saying
don't
that
need
it
that.
will
Nobody
be an
wants that.
antidote to wokeness.
Why? What?
I'm so over
Why?
billionaires.
Because women can't vote when the Titanic launched. Women couldn't vote.
I
in the
just
US,
like that
right?
he forgets the Titanic sank. So are we saying that like the
Again,
woke
why do we
antidote
need-
is going to sink?
Again, why do we need antidotes to equal rights movements? Like, what are we doing here?
Slow
Why do we
your
need
roll,
antidotes?
socialist.
All right.
Equal rights is not a socialist idea.
Equal.
I got the headliest of them all.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here we go.
Yeah, because math
Airlines.
sucked.
Airlines are just banks now.
Oh, no.
Airlines make more money from mileage programs than from flying planes.
Wait.
And it shows.
How is that? Why? How do they make money from mileage programs?
This because of partnerships.
Oh,
With
really?
with- Hey, this is headliniest. This isn't go
Okay.
into the
As I
headline.
go
All right,
into
all right.
it, yes.
I'll shut up. What else you got? What else?
Inside the Garrick, the elite men-only London club rocked by criticism.
Oh, that's
Wow,
boring.
a
We don't need
men-only
What?
club got rocked by criticism. I can't believe that.
Okay, I don't like that.
no,
one.
no. It's the elite men-only London club. I'm
Well,
like,
it should be rocked by
what
criticism.
year is this?
Yeah. Well,
what year is this?
Isn't like the Masters golf tournament? Isn't that still like all men, or did they let women do that now? I don't even know.
Well, actually, I did read a little bit about this, and now the
Oh.
men are having meetings to talk about what to do.
They need
They're
an
like,
antidote
the
to
women
woke.
are coming. The
It's a
women
private
are coming.
club. It's a private club.
I like that. Yeah,
Right.
these are all
Yeah.
private clubs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I care about that. Yeah.
Okay. All-female auto repair shop lets clients get mani-pedis while waiting for their cars. I thought
okay,
this
I
was
like that.
headline.
amazing.
That's a good headline. Yeah.
I went to a barber shop once in Amsterdam that was men only. They wouldn't let
Waiting-
my daughter in. Men only.
Waiting
Wow.
for my car to get fixed, it's worse than going to the eye doctor for me. So
Just so you know, the equivalent of mani-pedis at this Amsterdam barbershop, the equivalent to that was, I think it was like girly magazines and like beer or like whiskey. That's the equivalent, I suppose.
well, they should put mani-pedis
I don't like
everywhere.
I don't
They
like your
should get
headlines,
this
Ari.
too.
What else you got?
Largest U.S. sports books.
I like this one.
Join forces to tackle problem gambling.
That's the winner. I love this.
that
I was at
made
the
me
winner.
laugh.
There was also a guy.
That made me laugh. Come on.
I don't know if I'm able to.
Largest, alcohol, whatever, beer. What are they?
Vendor.
What do you call them? Manufacturers.
Yeah.
Vendors. Join forces to create Alcoholics Anonymous. Come on.
There was also one. Speaking of Disney, there was also one I almost picked. ESPN anchor Reese Davis calls a sports betting pick a risk-free investment.
Ooh, I like that. That's good.
That's bad.
Yeah, this betting thing, Ari, this sports betting
It's
thing, this is
bad.
dangerous. This is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is bad. I like that one. My only headline, and the audience will appreciate. They only have one. The CEO of Ryanair says the airline would regularly find missing seat handles and tools under floorboards on Boeing planes. And remember, that's the same Boeing where their CEO is voluntarily, I guess, stepping down.
He's
retiring.
stepping sideways later.
Stepping sideways, yeah.
He's stepping off later.
So are we actually going to pick a winner, or should we just move on?
Yeah, no, we always pick a winner, and
go ahead,
the winner is all female auto repair shop. Let's client get mani pedis.
I don't know
because
that one. Ari,
I
you have a
would
pick?
100% prefer the mani pedi to sitting in that dank room with that crappy TV that's always got QVC
and the terrible
on,
coffee smell,
the vague smell of coffee and like stained carpet.
Go outside and take a walk.
Yeah, but every single repair shop is like across from a gas station and next to a. You know, it's just
give the junkyard dog some Beyond Meat and just relax.
It's like where you would get hit by a car and nobody would hear you and the car would drive away.
I like that scenario. That sounds like a good movie. Yeah.
I'm gonna pick airlines are just banks now, and it shows.
That's not a good. That's not a good headline. I don't know how to play this game anymore. I like only because I was going to pick this too. Ari, I like this one. Largest U.S. sportsbooks join
it's a three-way
forces
tie
to tackle problem gambling. What are we doing
it's a
here?
Three-way tie.
Let's get out of this category.
All right.
Yeah.
Who won the week?
Mine is simple. It's got to be Dave Calhoun. This guy is a fraud. I'm sorry, but he's somehow going to stay till the end of the year, maybe retire. You know he's going to get a golden parachute. The whole thing is a joke. I mean, he's got like $50 million in unvested equity, I think, at this point. Some people are reporting. But we don't really know the details yet because they haven't released any of it. But it's got to be Calhoun.
Yeah, well, I got ex-OpenAI employees because
ex-OpenAI employees.
Yeah. First of all, they don't get to work there anymore.
That's true.
You know, like
Cole
when
by
Facebook,
Sam Altman, yeah.
Right. When Facebook first hit it big, like if you were ex-Facebook, you were a different class of tech bro. Amazon injects another $2.75 billion into startup founded by siblings who worked at OpenAI.
Oh,
this doesn't make me feel good. I guess they did.
So who
win
won the week? So you're saying the winners are the people who work at this new Amazon startup? Is that what you're saying?
Nope. The people who won the week are the people who have left OpenAI.
Yes,
and
that's
now
the
work
winner.
at this other place.
I'm going to say the winner is anyone who wants free director data.
Oh, now we're talking.
Because we lifted,
I want free director
if
data.
you go to www.freeflowanalytics.com, we lifted all the paywalls. Now there's 80,000 active directors globally. You can get their influence metrics, the 4 performance metrics, the basic 4 for every single one. So suck it, ISS. It's all free on our website.
As someone who's been an analyst in this field for way too many years, I actually use the platform daily for all my show research. And I don't want to crap on MSCI. We actually use a lot of MSCI's data, so I got nothing against MSCI. But part of the problem with using MSCI's platform is I have to open a stupid PDF for every stupid company I'm looking at. Our data on our platform, I'm sorry, it's just much more usable.
Oh,
it's just,
might I mention you can actually export some of this data on our, it's not...
I don't do that. I'm not smart enough to do spreadsheets.
Not to mention, Davian, that you can look up people, whereas in MSCI,
it's tough to look up people.
All the companies.
It's tough. Yeah, you have to. You have to do equity.
It is worth saying this.
Yeah.
You can go if you have a person that you're curious about. You can search for them. If you have a company that you're curious about, you can search for the company. It will give you the stats on the team, just like a sports team. And everything looks like a baseball card for the people, but you can go check out the stats on the team.
Yeah.
The front page of freeflowanalytics.com has every story that Damien pulls every single week on it. So if you listen to the show, you can just read the news right there. Yeah. It's everything that we talk about.
Not to mention, if you get stuck on anything, you want trying to understand how to use a certain data point, just reach out to us.
Call Damien.
Talk you through everything. Yeah, call me. It's a 1-800. You wish.
Predictions.
Yeah, predictions.
I have a prediction
Go ahead.
This week, Florida will fire teachers for being too woke
Well,
and
obviously.
replace them with AI.
That's obvious.
I mean,
already.
that's just been.
Oh,
we
sorry.
know that's coming. Come
but
on.
preferably,
You didn't state it.
it's gonna
That's
be
true, I didn't.
it's gonna be white Christian AI. It can't be that
Well,
woke
of course,
AI,
it'll be
like
Grok.
Gemini.
It'll be Elon Musk AI.
And after the first semester, the students will have corrupted the AI, so it will no longer be a white Christian AI.
That's true. It'll be.
That's what it means to be corrupt.
Yeah, that's what corruption is now.
As a white Christian AI, I will tell you yes.
You want me to do my long-winded one first, Matt, or you want to go?
Oh my God. I don't,
I'll just go.
Yeah, you go.
I'm gonna say here's my prediction. It won't be Pope. It won't be Stephanie Pope to take over.
That's obvious, Damien.
It probably is obvious because here's why.
Yeah, duh.
I found two things. This is. I'm calling this like. There's got to be a term for this. It's like you're. It's a glass cliff. Before the glass cliff, like she's already on the glass cliff. That ceiling's. I don't know. I don't have a good.
It's
term
pre-cliff.
Pre-glass cliff. Because in her position on Boeing's executive council, Pope sponsors a business resource group dedicated to promoting gender diversity.
that's a
That's one
problem.
reason.
That's a problem.
And because she said in 2017, she said this, quote, women tend to be, myself included, more hesitant around challenges or new opportunities, and it really comes down to fear of failure.
You know-
So I think this is why they're already going to find reasons why she's too much of a woman to take over this, and they're not. So she's already like out of her job because they're realizing she's a woman before she's a female.
Like,
CEO.
I think it's a fabulous point, actually, because
Thank
the
you. For once I
first
said something
time,
smart.
like these planes are like they've been
Can we end
building
the show
for-
right? Just you supporting my comic. We end it right
but
now.
for 10 years they've been building these planes and they're failing, and Dave Calhoun's going to like ride 50 million into the sunset gracefully, and Larry Kellner's just not going to be reelected. Pope, the first time like a screw comes off of the plane, it's going to be DEI's fault. Like it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that she's been there for 30 years
Probably
and
already
run
is.
20 things. It doesn't matter. It's going to be we hired a woman. So you're absolutely right about that. I'm going to wrap this up. It is. We will get, because I just talked about freeflowanalytics.com being free, we get 4 new users. Four. I'm predicting 4
Well,
new users. from
Let's
that.
hope 3 of them sign lucrative consulting contract with us.
I didn't predict that.
'Cause
My
the fourth one, I
prediction
don't
is
care
that
about
we get
you, 'cause you're
4
four, I don't care
new
about you.
users. That's all we got. That's the Data Queen. Ari, that's Hazelnut Rawlis. I am your analyst, Paul Mascardi. We are Free Float. If you're wondering where the music is watching the live stream,
No one's wondering.
no one cares. It's right here. It's underneath me. You can hear it. Come back next week. Actually, we have a double header today. We're going to try to get out a proxy countdown later today. So look out for
lay
that.
down.
But next week we'll be back to normal-ish. And we'll talk to you on Tuesday. Until then, goodbye.